Warning, allergies are out of control, and you may experience coughing throughout this entire video. I apologize in advance. Allow me to introduce you to the one arc of the original Yu-Gi-Oh series that I personally do not like. The story is basic at best. The villain is a manipulator who seems to be a rival but who never comes into his own. All the other characters except for Yugi are given the shaft and are pushed to the side. And once again, there's no manga counterpart to this, thus eliminating this arc's legitimacy when it comes to an official timeline. I gave Waking the Dragons a pass, because even though it wasn't considered canon within the official timeline, the contents of it, like the story, character motives, and plot for instance, were all still solid in their own unique rights. Unfortunately, that is not the case here. But let's back up, let's breathe in, and let's go through this arc step by step, beginning with the story. First of all, this may sound a little cynical of me, but I'm not sure if this arc actually deserves a serious analysis. However, I will be doing it anyway, simply to keep with tradition. Here we go. The arc begins with Yugi and the Pharaoh having a talk by a lake. It's a nice, calm moment, and Yugi even states this, but the Pharaoh counters.
There is. It seems every time we restore peace to the world, a greater evil is waiting for us.
This does make a lot of sense. They can't seem to catch a break. But one thing that really fascinates me, though, is that we never actually get any idea of how much time passes in between storylines. For this next bit, I'm going to be using Yugioh Everything's video on his timeline theory for a bit. So, please bear with me. Based on Yugioh Everything's reasoning, he concludes that the original Duel Monster series lasted anywhere from 2000 to 2002, meaning, at least to him, that the arcs could not have taken more than a week to complete. But even then, there were 5 seasons of the original Duel Monsters, non-canon or canonical otherwise, each of which, canonically anyway, have at least 1 to 2 arcs each associated with it. So going by these numbers, as well as by removing the non-canon aspects of the anime for purist's sake, followed up by assuming the weekly length of each arc, as well as the fact that there are now 5 canonical arcs, for purist's sake, leads me to believe that the original Duel Monsters, depending on exactly when it begins in the year 2000, could end in the beginning of 2000 or at the very end of 2000 itself. That's a very confusing point, I know, but now let's play devil's advocate for a second. Personally, I'm someone who really doesn't care about canonicity, so now I'm going to take all of the arcs of Duel Monsters into account, including the non-canon ones. With that in mind, there are now 7 arcs total present within the Duel Monsters anime, not counting the manga-exclusive Transcend game. Meaning that, assuming the series begins around the end of 2000, means that Duel Monsters, according to Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything's reasoning, would end around the end of January of 2000, or the beginning of February, depending on exactly when Yugi solves the Millennium Puzzle in the year 2000. Again, I'm not disagreeing with Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything on this. I actually quite like his theory. I'm simply trying to establish and point out that in my mind, there's no way Duel Monsters lasts until 2002 without drastically expanding each arc's time span. I'm not going to get into that, because I'm already off topic as it is in this video. However, if you want, when I'm done with Duel Monsters in this series, I'll make a follow-up video in which I go more in depth about this topic. Comment below if you'd like that to happen. Getting back to this arc. Rebecca and Professor Hawkins offer a chance for Yugi and his friends to stay with them a little longer. Yugi and the Pharaoh have a talk, in which the Pharaoh states that he can wait a little bit longer to unlock his memories. If I may. No. This guy has not only been waiting 5,000 years to unlock his memories, but you guys literally just got the God cards back, and as I recall, you need them to unlock the Pharaoh's memories. Why not move on, help the Pharaoh unlock his memories, and then go back to Rebecca and Professor Hawkins? After all, it's not like they're going anywhere. In case you can't already tell, this video, as well as the other ones for this particular arc, are going to contain major criticism, mainly negative. A Kaiba jet touches down, with Mokuba explaining that they can all ride home, provided they agree to join Seto's new duel tournament. Oh man, this guy cannot just move on. I'm actually okay with this. And in fact, I'm expecting a fully fan-service duel between Yugi and Seto. What a difference a dream makes. Yugi and the others agree to be taken to the setting of the tournament, evidently called Kaiba Land, a sort of amusement park. We're then introduced to our main baddie, who seems to speak with a French accent. And boy is he unimpressive! This is Siegfried von Schroeder, and other than a rivalry with Seto that's barely touched upon, he's a rather boring antagonist. He doesn't really have any of the charm of Pegasus, the menacing presence of Merrick, or the stealthy tactics of Yamabakura that we'll be seeing later. He's just a bland businessman. Now don't get me wrong, I have nothing against having a businessman as a main villain. After all, I've put up with Seto for 3 seasons so far. It's just, do something interesting with them. The setup here is great though. Siegfried's corporation apparently has a big rivalry with the Kaiba Corporation. The setup's there, but the execution is mediocre. They don't even go into why the two corporations are at odds. Maybe Siegfried made more sense in the sub version, but I guess I'll get to that another day. I don't even mind if it's a lower scale arc in terms of the stakes. After all, we've had 3 back-to-back storylines so far about people literally getting their souls taken, so it's nice to settle things down again. However, you can't do that when the villain is as bland as he is in this case. In my opinion, Seto should have been the main baddie. Maybe invite Pegasus out to the tournament, or even Merrick. Or, how about this, if you don't want to go that route, maybe do a tag team duel. Like, say, Yugi and Joey versus Seto and Mokuba. That would have harkened all the way back to Yugi and Joey's duel with the Paradox Brothers during Duelist Kingdom, and it would have been awesome to find out if Joey would even defeat Seto at this point. Well, let's face it, we saw what happened in Battle City. Seto mopped the floor with him. But together with Yugi, who has defeated Seto on multiple occasions at this point, I think they'd be able to pull it off. Man, I feel like I'm rewriting this entire storyline. I gotta get back on track. Yugi and the others arrive at Kaiba Land, and it really is an amusement park. There are Kuribo rides, a Blue Eyes White Dragon themed roller coaster, which I'm surprised little Kuribo hasn't done a spoof of yet, cough cough, and even a Blue Eyes statue. It's all really impressive to look at, and certainly must have cost Seto and his company a lot to build, not to mention open up to the public. Let's just get on with the story already. Needless to say, Seto comes out and announces the tournament, and it gets underway. The stakes here would be a lot higher if I actually cared about who was participating. So let's talk about that for a minute, since I haven't done much of that in this video. This may spill over into the next one, who knows. After all, I'm writing this near the end of January, and it's now April at the time I'm recording this, over 3 months later.